Good morning. It's Sunday, October 18th. We're over halfway through the month of October. I hope everybody's had a great week. I hope that everybody's doing well. This morning's lesson is going to come from Matthew chapter 23, more specifically at the 11th and 12th verse. And it's going to talk about we're going to concentrate on why we have our gifts, why we have our abilities, and it's the mindset behind it, the servant mindset. Now, here we read in Matthew chapter 23 that Jesus is speaking to the multitude, and he's describing what the scribes and the Pharisees do. They want the chief seats at synagogues. They want the praise of men. They love all this stuff. It's their garments. They enlarge the border of their garments. They do all these things to be seen of men and to place rules on others, but they won't lift a finger to do any of those things. And if you look here at verses 11 and 12, you're going to find what the intent and the mindset we should have behind why we were placed in certain positions. And if you read in verse 11, it says, "But he that is greatest among you shall be your servant." Now that kind of sounds strange in the society we live in, because oftentimes in society I'm the greatest. I don't have to do that much. I can get somebody else to do it. But guess what? Jesus said, But he that is greatest among you shall be your servant." Are we using the authority, the position, the status, the title, however, which way you want to put it? Are we using that to serve someone else? Are we doing that to lead them closer to Christ? That is something that we all need to work on. But in this society, if we could just get that one thing, that one thing, look how different the world might look right now. And it says in verse 12, "And whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased, and he that shall humble himself shall be exalted." Now we need to stay here for a second. Now, when you exalt yourself, when we put our own self up on a certain pedestal or a certain level, but God didn't approve it, and we didn't do it God's way, you can best bet there's destruction to follow. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but guess what? The word says you're going to be abased. You're going to be brought back down a few notches. If we humble ourselves, however, he said he will be exalted. When God gives you something, when he exalts you, there's no man or any circumstances or whatever that can bring that down. But when you, as my granddaddy used to say, if you get too big for your britches, you can be brought back down to size. I can assure you, either you humble yourself or life will humble you. It's your choice. I'll say it again, either you humble yourself or life can humble you. Because when you don't think of yourself as, I'm just as good, I'm just like anybody else. I'm no better than anybody else, and nobody else is better than me. When you get to that mindset that, hey, I'm better than this one or I'm better than that one, that's when you're in trouble. Because at the end of the day, one thing you need to remember, we were all born and we will all die. We all have a dash in between our birth dates and our born dates. But at the end of the day, we have a date and an appointment that all men and all people must meet, and that is death. So in that sense, I can't look at you and say I'm better than you. You can't look at me and say that you're better than me. No. But the minute we get into that mindset, we've got trouble on our hands. And you can be sure that selfish and foolish pride comes before destruction, as we read in the book of Proverbs. So if today you might be suffering from that, or you've even had that thought that I'm better than somebody, get rid of it. Get rid of that thought. Because if you don't, you got it right here in the word that you will be abased. And one of the fruits of the Spirit, as we see in Galatians 5, I believe it's 5:23, it's talking about meekness. Meekness. Meekness is not weakness, it's strength under control. You don't use your ability to use it with malicious intent or just to gain advantage over someone. And Jesus said the meek will inherit the earth. Well, meekness is also translated and also explained in the dictionary as gentleness or humility. The same word we saw right here in verse 12, shall humble himself, shall be exalted. Be gentle. Be gentle enough to know, hey, you know what? Hey, they got feelings just like I do. They struggle just like I do. I struggle just like they do. I have feelings just like everybody else does. You must humble yourself, and you'll be exalted in due time if you faint not. So I hope this helps somebody today, but remember the most is that we have to humble ourselves. Humble yourselves, or life will humble us. But if we'll do that, Jesus said the meek will inherit the earth. Y'all have a good one. Talk to you later.